Hello, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. As you enter here into the webinar, if you could please just type in the chat where you're tuning in from. And I would love to know a goal that you have for 2025. It does not have to be professional. If it is professional, that's great, but anything that you want to share about what you have as an aspiration for 2025. That would be great. We'll give it a few minutes here for people to trickle in. We were just talking before we went live about everyone's crazy weather right now. So depending on where you're tuning in from, you might be dealing with snow or ice or all sorts of things. Hi, Valerie. So nice that you're here today from St. Louis.
Ooh.
Hi, Samantha. North Carolina. Hi, Shira. Good to see you. We'll give it one more minute here and then I'll go ahead and get started. Want to complete your dissertation? That's huge, Amy. That's awesome. Hi, Tara. Make a career change. Yes, I love that. We're going to be talking all about that today. So hopefully you can walk away with some tangible items to work on that goal. Hi, Deshara. Okay, so as you trickle in, feel free to put in the chat where you're tuning in from and a goal that you have for 2025. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Felicia Royce. I am the Director of Alumni and Career Services here with ACHS. I might have spoken to you in the past. If I haven't, I look forward to working with you in the future. I've been with ACHS, I think, since 2015, and I've been in this role in particular for the last few years. And by far, it has been my favorite position that I've ever held. I am so glad to be in this position to work with students and alumni as they, work on their career goals. And it's really inspiring to work with such creative minds that want to bring wellness into their community. I was a serial career changer myself for many years and lacked direction for many years. So being in a role where I can help others is really fulfilling and rewarding. So that's a little bit about me. And then I always start with our mission here. It's to lead the advancement of evidence-based integrative health and wellness education through experiential online learning and sustainable practices. And then the agenda for today, you'll notice that your line has been muted, and that's just because we record this, and we will send this out as a recording via email to those of you that are here and also those of you that registered and couldn't attend today. So today we are going to take anywhere from a half an hour to an hour, depending on questions. But we're going to really focus on career pathways in 2025 and different industry trends to be aware of and tips that you can, walk away from this webinar and implement. We're going to have a couple of alumni spotlights, which is a lot of fun. And even though you can't unmute and talk, I really want this to be collaborative. So please, comment anytime, ask questions anytime. We'll have some time at the end for Q&A, but I want to hear from you and I want this to be fun and engaging. So feel free to use that chat. So we're going to start with our special guest today, our alumni highlight. Brianna Vargas is with us today. She is a two-time graduate of ACHS programs, the Certificate in Herbal Studies and our Associates in Complementary Alternative Medicine, and is currently working toward her Bachelor's of Science in Integrative Health Studies. I thought we'd start with Brianna, just kind of sharing a little bit about her experience going into the nutraceutical industry and what that's been like for her. She's also a mentor with ACHS, so she's very involved and we're very appreciative. But Brianna, do you mind just sharing a little bit about your story?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Felicia mentioned, I graduated with my associates back in 2022. And it took me about 6 months to actually land the job that I'm currently at. So I'm working as a lab technician at a nutraceutical company. And I basically just test on the raw materials. So it's like various botanicals, herbs, and things like that that are formulated into the finished products that we sell. I really knew I wanted to work directly with plants and also make like a positive impact on society in Texas, which is where I'm currently at. It was really challenging to find. I think I Googled a lot, I tried to get on LinkedIn and kind of network and see what's out there. There's like People's RX, natural grocers, things of that nature. So it really just kind of depended on what I wanted to do. So when I applied here, I went through kind of like a little lengthy hiring process, but I've been here for over 2 years now, and I've, grown, excuse me, and learned so many skills. And some of my future aspirations, I still definitely want to be like in the manufacturing field. I want to become an expert. I love to learn, so I'm always looking for new challenging ways to grow my skills or also take on new tasks and things like that. And kind of some tips for getting into the nutraceutical field or even like manufacturing. I would say networking is a big thing. You can also seek out like technical sources. Some jobs will require, you to have more of like technical certificates or things of that nature. And some soft skills I feel like are really versatile whenever you're wanting to move into like manufacturing. So stuff like attention to detail, being a problem solver, the willingness to learn, and just being very flexible and things like that. A lot of these companies will also hire like entry level, and they're very easy to essentially work your way up, and which is basically what I've done. I'm a lab tech too. I've been exposed to like auditing, a lot of compliance and regulatory. Like my current position, I'm testing things to make sure they're safe for human consumption. So yeah, so that's some tips. And my biggest thing that I found for networking opportunities would be again through LinkedIn. Some companies will have like career fairs, or also there's like trade shows where you can go and meet other companies you may not have known about or you want to know more about. And they'll have lots of good information. And another good thing I found is workforce solutions. Kind of through the government, they have lots and lots of good things. You can find things like career exploration, training and development resources. Sometimes these things are free as well. Like I had mentioned, extra certificates, you may be able to get them through there. Labor market info as well, which I feel like is very important, especially, it's I feel like getting a job has been a little bit challenging over the past year. And they also host hiring events. So they may have like temp agencies, again, like those career fairs and trade shows where you can kind of show up, kind of connect with other people and network. And yeah, so
Oh, that's so helpful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's been really fun to work with you, Brianna, just and see your trajectory, with your career path. And as I mentioned before, Brianna is a mentor here. So if you're looking to go into this industry and you want to work with Brianna, let me know.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I can get you in touch with her. And Brianna, yeah, feel free if you want to log off. But I just really appreciate you sharing and sharing your experiences with the
Yeah.
today.
Absolutely. I hope somebody, takes away something from there that I mentioned. And I do want to thank you, Felicia, also. You have definitely helped me with like my resume and also, touching on anything that I needed help with regarding, jobs and things like that. So it was nice to meet everybody. And
Yeah,
I'll see everybody later.
thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay. So, I'd say the two questions I get most often in my role are, what can I do with my degree or my program? And when I'm looking for a job, I don't know what to put into the job search bar. So I thought I would take a few minutes just to talk about some different pathways in this industry, and talk about, how you might be able to create a pathway to go toward some of these roles. And so maybe even just going over this will spark an idea. Maybe you didn't know that this role even existed. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to kind of go over these bullet points. So the aromatherapy industry can be a wonderful one if you're just focusing on aromatherapy, but it can also be a great adjunct to other roles in the field of holistic health. So a lot of times, our students and alumni will obtain an aromatherapy credential, and then they'll also, let's say, go to school for massage therapy, and they will be able to integrate that into their massage therapy practice, or natural products manufacturing. So if you are wanting to become a registered aromatherapist, reach out to me and let me know. I can definitely help you with, getting prepared for that through the ARC. But some of the other roles you might think about: essential oil buyer, spa assistant. We talked about natural products manufacturing, and nutraceuticals, essential oil retail. So working for an apothecary. I've worked with many students and alumni that very much love working in that industry. Formulator. I've also worked with other students who do formulation work. A lot of times it is a higher level degree and a strong chemistry background. But if you are interested in that as an end goal, we could definitely talk about how you could set yourself up for that, maybe taking graduate level courses. Hospice, palliative, and healthcare in general really needs aromatherapy. And it's becoming more and more well known and needed. And so, if you're wanting to work with that population, this is definitely a pathway that you can think about. And then sales, sales can be lucrative, and a lot of large essential oil companies hire territory sales managers. And of course they'd want to, be in line with your values. But that is definitely another line of work that you could think about going into. And for holistic integrative health and nutrition, at the very top of the list here, health and wellness coaching, I'd say, is the most popular track that students and alumni that I work with want to go toward. But there are many other things that you can do. We're going to talk a little bit about this here in a minute, but corporate wellness is very much growing. Employers are putting more money toward their wellness programs. So whether you want to build a business and market to corporations that you want to work with and try to get on board with their programs, or look for employment opportunities, they're vast. Becoming a nutrition professional, so gaining that credential from the NAMP for the board certification. Many of our programs are set up for that. Or at the master's level for holistic nutrition, you can go toward the certified nutrition specialist. And I can always help you with that credentialing as well. But that can open up more pathways for you. Community health navigation. I don't know of a lot of people who know about this particular position, but it's a little more entry level. It's doing assessments in your community, and also, helping your community members find resources. So it's almost like a blend between like holistic health and human services. Nutritional consultants, depending on where you live. And then what I would say, if you are going to be a career changer, so let's say you've been in another industry, you've always been passionate about holistic or integrative health, and now you're pivoting, but you don't have the experience. What I would highly recommend while you're in school, if you can, obtaining a position that's more administrative at an integrative health clinic or naturopathic clinic, or even a chiropractic or natural or acupuncture clinic can be a really good place to get your foot in the door. You can learn about how the office functions, how they do documentation. You can meet people in the field. There might even be an opportunity for you to work with them at some point. So that's a really great place to really get your foot in the door if you are a career changer. And lastly, the herbal medicine industry. I think one pathway that is not really highlighted as much as it should be is working in the farming industry. I was just at the farmers market a couple of months ago and ran into a woman in my community that I've never met before. I was buying plants and she had all these wonderful tinctures and just had this great booth set up. And I started talking with her and realized she owned a farm and actually had employees and did educational, she had like a little school where she did some educational work. And yeah, I learned a lot about, the industry and the need for that, especially seasonally. And then, as Brianna was saying, working at places like natural grocers or Whole Foods, a lot of those natural grocery stores do have consultant positions. In fact, if you ever want to talk about natural grocers, if that is in your area, they actually have a pretty great internship program that I'd be happy to share with you. The cannabis industry is a stable industry and also growing. I do recommend if you are going toward cannabis, our micro credential is amazing in learning about working in that industry. Again, working to apothecaries, working with herbal extract production within that space. And then again, the sales side or the administrative side. I see a lot of positions out there for supplement companies hiring for territory sales managers as well. So I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of some different pathways that you can think about and maybe search for and do your market research and see what's in your area. So talking about employment trends, I won't take a lot of time here, but I did want to touch on the things that I'm seeing in my world and the research that I've been doing in going into 2025 in the last year. I'd like to know actually if you could put in the chat if you are currently looking for a job, if you're applying for jobs. I'd like to know what your experience has been like if you are willing to share. What I'm finding is that it's very competitive right now. So the average job has about 118 applicants, and that is not necessarily in the integrative health field. Now, if you look at remote positions in this field in particular, you can upwards see 400, 500 applicants for one position. So it's highly, highly competitive. So we want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward and tailoring our documents and thinking about long-term plans, because in this industry, having a higher level credential is going to warrant more opportunities. Rosanna said, I am a chemical engineer working as an R&D in nutraceutical. I would like to see what my opportunities for growth in the industry since my bachelor's degree is not from the US. So we might have to talk offline, Rosanna. So let's definitely chat and I can give you some guidance on that, maybe offline. But I just want to kind of point it out there that if you are applying for lots of jobs and not hearing back, it is not you. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. Maybe we need to fine tune your application documents and tailor them to the industry, make sure we're getting past things like application tracking systems. The use of AI is completely exploded, as most of you probably know. And most of the time it's not a human looking at your documents, right? So if you aren't using AI yourself, I would encourage you to at least get to know it and how employers are using it. But the good news is that, like I said earlier, with corporate wellness, a focus on mental health and well-being is being incorporated across the board. Different companies, even different industries are really putting a lot of focus on their employee well-being. A lot of programs out there to be a part of. And then one thing to consider is gig work and seasonal work. If you're building a business and you want to have income flowing in, maybe pick up a seasonal farm job. Maybe go to Upwork, which is you bid for different jobs, right? Maybe you write a blog. But there is a need for that, and that economy is still very strong. Also, since the Great Resignation during the pandemic, we have seen a lot of shifting in roles, right? So there is a need for a lot more leadership, a lot more managerial roles than ever before. So if you're somebody who maybe wants to go for a health and wellness pathway and you want to become a coach, maybe think about in terms of growing your income potential. Maybe you want to manage other coaches one day. So really honing in on those leadership skills A lot of employers are looking for those soft skills like emotional intelligence, motivational interviewing, being able to manage a team. So just something to think about. Just wanted to share some of those things. And going into business ownership in 2025, definitely, like I said earlier, get to know AI. It's not going away. You don't have to, use it or even like it necessarily, but it is part of our fabric now. And so if you've never been on ChatGPT, I would at least get used to understanding how companies use it, and how, as a business owner, you might be able to use it and incorporate it. Sustainability and eco-consciousness, top priority for business owners and organizations. We actually have a sustainability expo coming up here in March. And then, as Brianna mentioned, networking. It's really crucial to be able to go to health and wellness events, to be able to meet people in the field. Partnerships, being able to work in a cooperative environment. There's a yoga studio down the street from my house, and they have yoga there, but they also have 6 different rooms with other practitioners. So being able to be a part of a network is really important for a business owner. And then one thing that's really cool is, lowering your overhead by having more digital platforms. And it's actually what consumers are asking for more these days, right? The traditional brick and mortar is great, but you don't have to have a brick and mortar to be able to reach a broad audience, right? You can go completely digital or virtual. And in fact, for a lot of clients, that is preferred. So, and it keeps your overhead low because you're not paying rent, right? There is a helpful resource here. Catherine, if you want to put this in the chat as well, that'd be great. The health and wellness trends, if you are interested in reading up more on that, we published that just recently. So pause here. I'm going to see if there's any questions. Samantha said she's been looking for work. It's not going very well. Samantha, if you feel like elaborating on that, like what isn't going very well, I'd love to hear more about that. And then Shara said, my area does not have health and wellness fairs or gathering. So what I'd say, Shara, to that is try to go online. LinkedIn has tons of events that they put on. Getting involved with things like BNI or other online-based networking groups outside of your region can be, also really helpful. There's all sorts of online events now. So, just Googling online health and wellness events might, come up with some options there. And it's true, I work with a lot of students who are in rural communities, and, there's nothing that's really in their community so sometimes you have to think outside of the box and go to more of those online spaces. Yeah. And that's awesome, Shira, that you want to create one and you want to bring that community. That's wonderful. And Samantha said, a lot of people have positions listed, but not are actively hiring. And I'm having a hard time being contacted back. Yeah. Yeah. You're not alone. You're not alone. So one of the things I would say is, well, we're going to get into this in just a minute, but tailoring your documents, and that networking piece. And we'll talk about that here in a second. It'll be helpful. But before we get into that, I wanted to do the other alumni highlight that I had on my agenda today. Sharon had a conflicting appointment, so she's not able to be here today, but I wanted to share her story because I've worked with Sharon for the last couple of years, and I've just been able to see her trajectory over time, and it's been really wonderful. Sharon works for a research-based hospital, and she's been in the medical field a really long time. And she's been able to bring a lot of her education into that space, and work with different wellness professionals. And then she did finish her master's in complementary alternative medicine with us. She's been a mentor with us this last year and works with other students as well. She initially started her 13 Zebras Wellness company. It's an online digital coaching company. She works with her target audience is folks with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And she's been doing that for a while and has been very successful with it. But what's been really cool is to watch how she's built on her skill set. So she started this company. She put a lot of thought into it. She's had a couple of iterations on her website. And then she went and got her laughter yoga certification, and she's incorporating that. And now she's going for her NBHWC credential, which is a coaching credential. So she's built on her degree. And in April, she is launching the Holistically Harmonizing Hypermobility 12-week platform. And she is just helping people in so many different ways. And she's had, just kind of built layers onto her business. And it's been just so cool to see. So it's a good representation of, your degree is just one part of it, and you can continue to build and learn and grow and meet people in the field and learn from each other. And she's really exemplified that. So I just wanted to highlight her. And she is a mentor. So if you are wanting to do health and wellness coaching, she'd be a great person to work with. And of course, let me know, and I'm happy to connect. And Noelle said, I have been working as a health coach for the past 2 years. Recently, I became unemployed and have decided to deepen my expertise in integrative health. Currently interested in the certificate. Oh, cool, Noelle. Awesome. Welcome. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? Is like, we might have done something in the field, but we want to grow. And there are many ways that you can start, entry level and build your skills and be able to grow and expand. You're welcome. So, some food for thought. I do not want to discourage you from getting on job boards. Job boards are great. And for some people in rural areas, it might be the only way that they have ties to any job opportunities, right? So I'm not discouraging job boards. But I think the mindset going into this next year should really be about building your community, whether it's online or in person or at events, using tools like LinkedIn, following different companies. That is, I think, the hidden job market is what I'm getting at here. There are a lot of positions that are out there and potential for positions that are out there, companies that need wellness professionals to come in and work with their employees or their staff or their clients. And there's many ways that you can get involved, but these are not positions that are listed on LinkedIn or Indeed, right? I was working with a student not too long ago that somehow reached out to an integrative health clinic near her and basically did a pitch and said, I see that you have this need. I specialize in nutrition. I'd like to work with this population. I think, I could be really beneficial, and here's how. Really like gave a presentation, and she was offered a position. This was not a position that was open. And we have support here, like working with me to help you fine tune that pitch. But really, the networking is really important. And if you don't live in a place where there is a lot of networking opportunity, like through your Chamber of Commerce, I'd say take it online and see if you can build an online community. And then I also really wanted to just kind of focus on reversing the way you're thinking about getting a job. And so for me, I think it's really helpful to think about envisioning what you really want, what environment you want to work for or work in. What company really speaks to you, like with their values and their mission, what skills you want to use on a day-to-day basis, what you want to bring every day. Maybe it's benefits that are really important to you. Maybe it's time off to be with your family. Maybe it's travel, but really thinking about your values and your skills and how you want to apply them. And then trying to find either people that work in that industry that you admire and ask them for a few minutes of their time. Ask them if you can take them out to coffee, pick their brains, see if they have a job shadow opportunity, even for a day, because everyone had to start somewhere, right? And I think if we just sit on job boards and we look for things we might be qualified for, it takes the sparkle out of this process, which is really your future and your income. And so really thinking about what is your vision and getting that down on paper, setting yourself some goals, looking for companies that you want to work with, even if they're not hiring right now. And not to sound too cheesy, but really believing in yourself, in your skills and your gifts that you're going to bring to, your organization that you're going to work for or your community. And when in doubt, if you do want to pivot and maybe apply for a role that is outside of your general experience, always focus on skills, transferable skills. Just because you haven't been a health and wellness coach before doesn't mean that you don't have amazing listening skills, communication skills. So really like getting clear on what your skills are and thinking about the job search from that place. But the job board, it can be exhaustive and it can chip away at your confidence because you apply for 50 things, in a week, and you don't even remember what you applied for because you're just trying to do the numbers game. And then, you hear back from a couple and I've seen people get jobs. I've seen people, find really good jobs on job boards. So I think keep it in your back pocket, use the tools, but if I could give you any advice for 2025, it's to get involved in your community, in the industry. If you aren't a member, if you're an aromatherapist or want to be an aromatherapist, get involved with NAHA or AIA. If it's nutrition, NAMP, start there, go to the roundtable discussions. The more people you can meet, the better. And then let's see. Oh, Tanya said, can I touch on the mentorship program? Yeah. Yes, thank you, Tanya. The mentorship program is designed for peer-to-peer support. So essentially, you apply for the program. It starts every semester. You don't necessarily have to be a graduate, but you do have to have like a specific business goal in mind, or if you're opening your own business. But essentially, you get matched with an alumni that is working in that respective field, and they help you. Whether it's if you are looking for an employment situation, they help, come alongside you and share their wisdom and their support around that. If it's building a business, then it's structured around that and business planning. But it's an awesome program and it's a networking opportunity as well. Beryl had asked, well, oh, Anissa, sorry, I'm jumping around. She said she loves her new mentor. So if you're interested in the mentorship program, I would say, reach out to me. I can, get you the application. We also have a mentorship page. I don't know, Catherine, if you could find that really quick and drop it in the chat. There's a way for you to apply on there as well, or at least say that you're interested. It's a fantastic program. Tanya, I hope that answered your question. Of course, let me know if you have follow-up. And yeah, thank you, Shira. I really appreciated your mentoring as well. So Beryl had asked how to get on the NAMP roundtable discussions. So for the NAMP, you can go to their website and actually see the different events that they have going on. It's the National Association for Nutrition Professionals, and they have a student membership. If you are a new student with ACHS going toward a nutrition degree, you actually get your first year as a student membership free. So if you are, interested in that, you should get an email. I think it's within the first month that you started school with that code to get the free membership with them. I keep wanting to say mentorship. And then, yeah, being involved with them, they have all sorts of roundtable discussions. They have, I think, research and other ways to get involved on their website as well. Thank you, Tanya, for putting that in there. Any questions about that? Awesome. Well, let's see how we're doing on time. Oh, right at the half an hour mark. So I just want to reiterate how we can help here at ACHS in our career services department. So we do offer one-on-one personalized coaching and business coaching, career and business coaching. And I'd be happy to talk with any of you about your goals and really, help guide you in the right direction. I am all about being proactive. So I don't want to wait till you're about to graduate and then have that discussion, right when you're at the end of your program. I really want this to be infused. This is your future, and I really care about you being successful. So the earlier that we can talk, the better. And then um, we have tools and resources, an abundance of tools and resources that we can share with you during that process. We do resume and cover letter review and assistance. So if you don't have a resume or a cover letter, you don't know where to start, we can provide you with some templates. If you do have a resume and you want us to look it over, we're happy to do that. Um, we help with market research. So, to Shira's point earlier, this is all relative to where you live as well. Like the opportunities that exist where you live, one place may be completely different than another, right? So we want to help you hone in on your area and figure out what's going to be realistic for you and even open it up to more remote opportunities as well. So we can help you kind of figure that out. And then job search support. So if you are somebody who is looking for work, whether it's in this industry or not, we want to help you with that. And then I just want to mention Timely Care has so many different resources for students, but recently student success coaching was added, and there's a career component to that. So they do have career coaches, and the nice thing is that they are later hours. So let's say, I'm off work at 5 Pacific time, and you're like, oh, I really want to get this application in, and it's 7 o'clock my time. You can hop onto Timely Care and get somebody from Timely Care to help you those later hours. So I just wanted to mention that. It's a great resource. And I definitely encourage you to utilize all of the resources that you have available to you. So with that, I just want to take a second to open it up to any questions really that are career related. If I can't answer it right now, I'll follow up with you, but just wanted to kind of open it up and take a few minutes to do some Q&A. And thank you, Tanya, for talking about the professional organizations as well. Any questions from anybody? I don't think I missed anything. Okay, cool. So just a little tidbit on micro credentials. This is a great way to upskill your resume and your skills in general. So we offer all sorts. I mentioned the cannabis specialist earlier, but we offer many other areas of focus as well, including our newest one, which is the business micro credential, which is really great if you are going toward being a business owner. And yeah, I just want to reiterate, my support, and I hope to work with all of you and um, keep that dream alive. You came to school for a reason, you have a passion, and I really want to see you follow through with that, whatever that might look like. So I look forward to working with you, and I hope you have a great start to your new year. Thank you for being here.